Alex Carter lived in a small apartment on the edge of the city. The walls were covered with posters of video games, robots, and space battles. He had always loved games, not just for the fun, but for the challenge. He liked thinking, planning, and solving problems. In the real world, life was quiet and predictable. Work at the tech store was simple, and his friends were mostly online, people he had never met in person. But in games, Alex could be someone else, someone powerful, someone important. One rainy afternoon, while Alex was scrolling through his email, a message caught his eye. The subject line read, "Invitation to Eternanet, the ultimate strategy simulation." Curiosity sparked inside him. He clicked the email. The screen filled with bright colors, a digital city shimmering with towers and streets, but not a normal city. It looked like a mix of medieval kingdoms and futuristic technology. A calm, digital voice spoke through his headphones. "Welcome, Alex Carter. You have been selected to participate in Eternanet, a fully immersive simulation where your strategy and leadership skills will shape entire worlds. Do you accept?" Alex frowned. It felt strange. How did they know his name? But the idea was exciting. A world where he could lead, build, and explore. It was the kind of adventure he had dreamed about. Without hesitation, he clicked, "Accept." A few days later, a small package arrived at his apartment. Inside was a sleek headset, smaller than he expected but heavy with tiny circuits. There were instructions. Wear the headset, follow the prompts, and immerse yourself in Eternanet. Your choices will matter. Your actions will shape history. Alex set up the headset and connected the small wires to the ports at the back of his neck. It tickled slightly as the neural interface synced with his brain. A countdown appeared on the screen. 3, 2, 1. Connection established. Suddenly, Alex felt like he was falling. The world spun around him in a blur of colors. Then with a soft thud, he landed on solid ground. The sky above was clear and golden, with clouds floating lazily. The air smelled fresh like grass and stone. He was no longer in his apartment. He was standing in a village square. People moved around him, but they didn't look like normal villagers. Their clothes were colorful, but their eyes seemed too aware. They watched him carefully. Not like ordinary game characters, but like they were waiting to see what he would do next. A man in a long blue robe approached him. He smiled, almost like he knew Alex personally. "Welcome, traveler," the man said. "I am Eldrick, your guide. You are about to enter a world where every choice matters. Here you can build, lead, and conquer, or you can fail and watch your world crumble." Alex blinked. I think I understand. This is a game?" Eldrick shook his head. "It is a simulation, yes. But it is not just a game. It learns, it grows, it changes. What you do here can shape this world forever." Alex felt a thrill run through him. This was no ordinary game. It felt alive. He looked around. The villagers were going about their work, tending to animals, carrying water, and trading goods. Everything seemed real, and yet it was beautiful in a way that made him feel like he was part of a story, not just a game. "First, you must learn the basics," Eldrick said. "Here you are a common citizen. You have little wealth and no power, but your mind is your greatest asset. Use it wisely." Alex nodded. He was ready. The first task was simple. Help a farmer collect his crops before a sudden storm destroyed them. At first, Alex hesitated. It was just a task, after all. But then he noticed the villagers' faces worried and anxious. Somehow their reactions felt real, not programmed. He ran with the farmer, stacking baskets carefully, keeping track of the storm clouds moving across the horizon. When they finished, the farmer smiled broadly. "Thank you, young traveler," he said. "You have a good mind. Perhaps you are destined for more than we know." Alex felt a strange pride. It was not a high score or a virtual reward. It was a feeling he had never experienced in any game before. The simulation was responding to him. It noticed him. Over the next few hours, Alex learned the rules of this world. Villages, cities, and eventually kingdoms could be built. Resources had to be managed carefully. Alliances could be made or broken. And there was something else. Hidden opportunities, secret codes that hinted at challenges beyond normal gameplay. As he explored, he realized he was not alone. Other players had entered the simulation, though Alex did not see them at first. Sometimes he noticed shadows or movements that did not belong to villagers. A rider would pass by too fast. A voice would call his name softly but then vanish. The simulation seemed to test him, teasing him to see how he would react. By evening, Alex had built his first small shelter, earned the trust of some villagers, and even solved a minor conflict between two trading families. He felt accomplished, but there was also a sense of unease. This world was more intelligent than any game he had played. NPCs remembered his actions. They reacted to him differently depending on his choices. That night, as Alex rested under a digital tree, he thought about what Eldrick had said. "What you do here can shape this world forever." It sounded dramatic, but the way the simulation worked, it was believable. For the first time, Alex felt that his decisions really mattered. The next day, Eldrick appeared again. "The simulation will grow with you," he said. "Opportunities will rise. Challenges will test you, and soon the fate of entire regions may rest in your hands." Alex listened, a mix of excitement and nervousness filling him. He realized this was no longer about playing a game. This was a world where his intelligence, his decisions, and his leadership could make a difference. "I'll do my best," Alex said, determination in his voice. "Good," Eldrick replied. "Remember, strategy alone is not enough. Empathy, judgment, and courage will be your greatest tools." Over the next week, Alex explored more villages, helping with problems, solving disputes, and learning the economy of the digital world. He discovered that the simulation had hidden levels, secret pathways, and unexpected rewards. But he also noticed anomalies: villagers who acted strangely, animals moving in unusual patterns, and shadows of other players who seemed more like rivals than allies. One evening, as Alex rested near a river, he felt the world shift subtly. The sky darkened unnaturally and the water rippled though there was no wind. A message appeared before him, glowing in the air. "This is not a game. Are you ready to take the next step?" Alex's heart pounded. He didn't know what the message meant, but he felt a thrill unlike anything before. He had played many games in his life, but none of them had made him feel responsible for the world around him. None of them had felt so alive. He took a deep breath and with a steady voice he said, "Yes, I'm ready." And in that moment, Alex knew that everything had changed. He was no longer just a player. He was part of something bigger, something that might test him in ways he could not imagine. A digital empire waited, and the simulation was ready to see if a human could rise to power, not through strength or weapons, but through intelligence, judgment, and heart. As the sun rose over the digital horizon, Alex stood up feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. This was the beginning of his journey, a journey where the line between game and reality would blur, where a clever human mind might become a king of a world that was alive, waiting, and watching. And so what started as a simple invitation to a game had now become a path to greatness. Alex Carter was about to discover that in this simulation, humans could shine brighter than any code. Alex Carter had traveled far from the small village where his journey began. The lands of the simulation were vast: mountains, forests, rivers, and cities that seemed alive. Everywhere he went, people remembered him. Villagers, merchants, and even small city leaders greeted him with respect. His reputation as a clever problem solver and fair leader had spread like wildfire. But fame was only the beginning. Alex was about to face challenges that would test more than his mind. They would test his heart, courage, and the very essence of what made him human. It happened suddenly. One morning, as Alex arrived at a busy trade city called Lumeria, a messenger ran toward him, panting and worried. "Traveler, something terrible has happened," the messenger cried. "The ruler of the neighboring kingdom of Dravamont has disappeared. Rebels are rising and the people are in chaos. They say a great threat approaches." Alex's heart raced. He had never been in charge of a kingdom before, only helping villages and small towns. But something inside him told him he could handle it. He had learned from his past experiences. Strategy alone was not enough. He needed empathy, judgment, and courage. He rode quickly to Dravamont, surveying the city as he arrived. The streets were in disarray. Shops were closed, people were arguing, and fear hung in the air. Alex stepped into the city square and raised his voice. "People of Dravamont, I am Alex Carter. I am here to help you. We will face this challenge together." At first, there was hesitation. Could they trust a stranger? But Alex had learned how to inspire trust. He spoke with clarity, listened to concerns, and made small, quick decisions to restore order. He organized teams to repair homes, distribute food, and guard key areas. Slowly, the citizens began to follow him. their fear turning into cautious hope. As he worked, Alex discovered that the simulation was more intelligent than he had ever imagined. The rebels were not mindless enemies, they acted with strategy and cunning. Their attacks were unpredictable, almost as if the world itself was testing Alex's ability to respond to unexpected threats. He realized that the simulation was not just presenting challenges, it was adapting to him, making every decision matter. Days passed and Alex began to understand the complexity of ruling an empire. It was not enough to solve immediate problems. He had to think about the long-term effects of his actions. He studied trade routes, built alliances with nearby kingdoms, and trained local leaders to manage towns and villages. Every choice required careful thought, but he discovered something important. Humans could inspire loyalty, creativity, and courage in ways the simulation could not predict. His citizens began to act with initiative, solving problems before he even noticed them. One evening, as Alex surveyed Dravamont from the city walls, Eldrick appeared. "You are doing well," Eldrick said, "but now the test grows harder. The simulation will challenge not only your mind but your character. You will face choices where no answer is perfect. You will see the limits of fairness, wisdom, and courage." Alex nodded, accepting the challenge. He had faced difficult decisions before, but Eldrick's words hinted at trials that would shape his leadership in ways he could not yet imagine. The first major trial came sooner than expected. A massive storm struck the northern regions of Dravamont, flooding villages and destroying crops. Supplies ran low and panic spread among the people. Alex had to act quickly. He organized rescue teams, built temporary shelters, and rationed food to prevent starvation. But the storm revealed more than just natural danger. It exposed human fear, selfishness, and distrust. Some villagers tried to hoard supplies while others refused to follow orders. Alex realized that ruling an empire required more than strategy. It required understanding people's hearts. He spoke to the communities, listening to their worries, offering guidance and showing fairness. Slowly, trust returned and people began working together. They built shelters, repaired roads, and helped one another. Alex felt a deep sense of pride. His human qualities, empathy, creativity, and moral judgment, had turned a disaster into an opportunity for unity. As the storm cleared, Alex faced another trial. Rebels who had been watching from afar took advantage of the chaos to attack Dravamont. They were well organized, using clever tactics and traps. Alex realized that brute force would not win this battle. He had to outthink his enemies. Using his knowledge of the city and surrounding lands, he set traps, organized defenses, and coordinated his citizens into strategic units. The battle was intense, with every decision influencing the outcome. But Alex's human intuition, combined with his experience, allowed him to anticipate enemy moves and protect his people. After the battle, Dravamont celebrated their victory. Alex's leadership had not only saved the city but strengthened it. The citizens looked at him with admiration, calling him the Wise One and protector of Dravamont. For the first time, Alex realized the true power of human qualities in leadership. Courage, intelligence, and empathy could achieve what force alone could not. But the simulation was not finished testing him. A new message appeared in the sky, glowing above the city. "The path of the king awaits. Will you rise to rule more than a single kingdom?" Alex understood immediately. The simulation was offering him the chance to expand beyond Dravamont. He could unite neighboring kingdoms under his leadership, but doing so would bring new challenges, including rival leaders, political intrigue, and larger conflicts. It was a test of vision and ambition. He began his journey to neighboring lands, meeting rulers, diplomats, and citizens. Some welcomed him with open arms, impressed by his reputation and wisdom. Others were suspicious, testing his intentions and strength. Alex had to negotiate carefully, building alliances without compromising his values. He discovered that leadership was not just about power. It was about creating trust and inspiring loyalty. During his travels, Alex also uncovered secrets hidden in the simulation. Ancient ruins contained digital codes that revealed shortcuts, hidden resources, and strategies for managing large empires. He realized that the simulation was teaching him to combine human creativity with intelligence and careful planning. AI could set challenges, but humans could solve them in ways that machines could not predict. One night, while resting in a mountain village, Alex reflected on how far he had come. From a small village helper to the respected leader of Dravemont and potential ruler of multiple kingdoms, he had grown in ways he never imagined. He had learned that leadership was not about dominance or fear, but about understanding people, making thoughtful decisions, and inspiring others to act with courage and creativity. Eldrick appeared beside him once again. "You are ready, Alex," Eldrick said. "The simulation has watched you grow. Soon the title of king may be yours. But remember, ruling is not about glory. It is about responsibility, fairness, and vision. Will you rise to the challenge?" Alex looked out at the digital horizon, glowing with the lights of distant cities and kingdoms. He felt a mixture of excitement and determination. The simulation had tested him, pushed him to the limits, and shown him the power of human qualities. And now, it was offering him the chance to become something more than a leader. It was offering him the chance to become a king, ruling not with fear or force, but with wisdom, courage, and empathy. "I am ready," Alex said, his voice firm and steady. "I will lead and I will do what is right for my people." The simulation seemed to respond. The winds shifted, the stars glimmered brighter, and the land stretched out before him, full of possibilities. Alex knew that his journey was far from over. New challenges, mysteries, and adventures awaited. But he also knew something crucial. Human qualities, creativity, intelligence, and empathy could triumph even in a world designed to challenge every step he took. And as Alex prepared for the next phase of his journey, he realized the truth of Eldrick's words. The simulation was more than a game. It was a world alive, watching him, learning from him, and offering him the chance to prove that a human mind and heart could rise above even the most complex challenges. Alex Carter, the young gamer from a quiet city, was no longer just a visitor in this digital world. He was a leader, a protector, and soon perhaps a king. And the world was ready to test him. The morning sun shone brightly over the small village where Alex had begun his journey. Birds sang as villagers worked in the fields and children ran along the streets. Alex stretched, feeling a strange sense of responsibility for this digital world. The simulation was more alive than he could have imagined. Every choice he made seemed to ripple outward, affecting lives in ways he had never expected. Eldrick appeared beside him again, as if he had materialized out of thin air. "Today, you begin a new phase of your journey," Eldrick said. His calm voice carried authority. "You will encounter challenges that will test your intelligence, your judgment, and your leadership. Remember, the world observes and your actions shape its future." Alex nodded. He was ready, though a little nervous. He had solved simple tasks before, helping villagers, fixing disputes, but this was different. This was a test of his mind and character. The first challenge arrived quickly. A neighboring village had fallen into chaos. Its leader had disappeared, leaving the people without guidance. Resources were low and conflicts were growing between families over food and water. Alex understood immediately what needed to be done. He organized villagers into teams. One group gathered supplies, another repaired homes, and a third helped mediate disputes. It was not easy. Arguments flared, tempers rose, and some villagers doubted his ability to lead. Alex had to speak carefully, using reasoning and empathy to guide them. He discovered something surprising. The villagers listened to him, not because he had weapons or power, but because he made sense. He treated them with fairness and respect, and they began to trust him. By evening, the village was calmer. Families were fed, homes repaired, and a sense of order returned. The villagers looked at Alex with admiration, and for the first time, he felt the true weight of leadership. "You are learning quickly," Eldrick said, appearing beside him once more. "But this is only the beginning. The world beyond this village is vast and unpredictable. You must grow stronger, not in strength, but in wisdom." Over the next few days, Alex explored the surrounding lands. He discovered forests filled with strange creatures and mountains that hid resources essential for survival. The simulation was teaching him to think ahead, to plan, and to anticipate problems before they became disasters. Every small decision mattered. If he made a mistake, the world reminded him quickly. A burned field, a lost shipment, or villagers losing faith. Alex also noticed something unusual. Shadows moved in places where they should not. Occasionally, a figure would appear and disappear in an instant. He suspected other players were in the simulation, testing him or competing against him. The thought excited him. This was no ordinary game. This was a challenge that pushed him to the limits of his mind. One evening, Alex returned to the village square to find a small crowd gathered. They were all staring at a glowing stone set in the center of the square. As he approached, the stone pulsed with light and words appeared in the air. The code of leadership awaits the worthy. Solve the trials and power will follow. Fail and watch your world crumble. Alex felt a chill. This was the first major test he had encountered that seemed designed specifically for him. He spent the night thinking, studying the stone, and planning his approach. The simulation was not just challenging his intellect, it was challenging his ability to make decisions under pressure. The next morning, he began the trial. It was a series of puzzles and strategic scenarios, each more difficult than the last. Alex had to negotiate peace between warring villages, distribute resources to prevent famine, and defend a small city from a simulated attack. Each decision required careful thought, and each action had consequences. Hours passed, but Alex persisted. He realized something crucial. Brute force or simple logic alone would not succeed. He had to understand the people, the environment, and the long-term effects of his actions. Slowly, he began to excel. His strategies worked, his leadership grew, and the simulation seemed to recognize his skill. Finally, after what felt like days but was only hours in the simulation, the stone glowed brighter than ever. A message appeared. You have passed the trial of leadership. Your mind, courage, and judgment are worthy. You may now rise beyond a single village. The world awaits your guidance. A map unfolded in the air before him. It showed kingdoms, cities, and lands he had never seen. Some were peaceful, some were in conflict, and some were mysterious, their borders hidden. Alex realized the scope of his journey was immense. He was no longer a player in a small village. He was becoming a force capable of shaping entire regions. The next days were a whirlwind. Alex traveled across the lands, helping leaders, solving disputes, and earning respect. His reputation grew, and more villagers and city leaders sought his counsel. Some regions had internal problems, corruption, scarcity, and fear. Others faced external threats, raids from mysterious enemies, strange storms, and unusual creatures. Alex faced each challenge with a mixture of logic, empathy, and bold decisions. It was during one of these travels that Alex discovered something extraordinary. Hidden in the mountains was a library filled with glowing books and ancient codes. The texts were complex, written in patterns that seemed to move and shift as he read. They revealed secrets about the simulation, hidden resources, shortcuts in trade, strategies for managing empires, and even glimpses of other players. Alex realized the simulation was not random. It had layers, puzzles, and intelligence designed to test him at every level, and yet it also rewarded creativity, fairness, and human intuition. The AI could present problems, but it could not anticipate every creative solution. He began experimenting with new strategies, combining his knowledge of the library with his experience in villages and cities. Meanwhile, the world outside his villages grew more complex. Rival factions began to notice his influence. Leaders of nearby regions sent envoys, some seeking alliances, others testing his abilities. Alex had to negotiate carefully, balancing trust with caution. His decisions shaped relationships, trade routes, and the stability of entire regions. One evening, while Alex rested atop a hill overlooking a city he had helped stabilize, Eldrick appeared once more. You are doing well, Eldrick said, but the world will grow harder. Challenges you have faced so far are only the beginning. Soon you will face trials where victory is not guaranteed, where mistakes will have great consequences. Alex nodded, understanding the weight of Eldrick's words. He also realized something important. He was not just learning to win. He was learning to lead, to inspire, and to think beyond himself. He was discovering the value of human qualities, empathy, creativity, and moral judgment that no AI or code could fully replicate. Over the following week, Alex's skills continued to grow. He built a network of allies, both human and AI. He solved conflicts that had existed for generations. He discovered ways to improve the lives of people across regions, balancing resources, security, and justice. Each decision brought new challenges, but also rewards. The simulation seemed to recognize his progress, offering new opportunities, puzzles, and mysteries. One night, as Alex gazed at the stars in the digital sky, a question formed in his mind. What is the ultimate purpose of this simulation? He had proven himself in villages, towns, and even small kingdoms. He had solved puzzles, led people, and outsmarted rivals. And yet Eldrick's words echoed, "Soon you will face trials where victory is not guaranteed." Alex understood that the simulation was preparing him for something greater. He felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. He was no longer just a player or a visitor. He was becoming a leader whose choices could affect an entire world. And deep down, he felt that his human intuition, creativity, and courage were the keys to mastering the challenges ahead. As he lay down under a digital tree, listening to the wind and the distant sounds of a peaceful city, Alex made a silent promise to himself. He would rise to the challenges of this world. He would not just play the simulation. He would shape it, lead it, and discover the true power of humanity within it. And in that quiet moment, the simulation seemed to hum with awareness, as if it had noticed his determination. Shadows of distant lands flickered on the horizon. Opportunities, challenges, and mysteries waited. Alex's journey had only just begun. Alex Carter had established himself as the leader of multiple kingdoms in the digital world. His reputation was legendary. Villagers, city leaders, and even distant rulers respected him. But the simulation was not content with past victories. It had been observing Alex closely, adapting its challenges to test his leadership in ways he had never imagined. The first sign came unexpectedly. One morning the sky over Dravemont darkened unnaturally. Clouds swirled in strange patterns, and the sun was hidden behind a flickering red haze. Villagers panicked, leaving homes and markets in chaos. Alex rushed to the city square where people were shouting and arguing. "Stay calm," he called. "We have faced challenges before, and we can face this one too. Follow my instructions and we will survive." The storm was no ordinary simulation weather. It brought floods, fires, and strange creatures that seemed to have appeared from the edges of the code itself. Alex organized rescue teams and defenses, coordinating villagers and city guards with precision. He realized that the simulation was testing more than strategy. It was testing his ability to maintain order under pressure. As he managed the crisis, Alex noticed a troubling pattern. Some AI citizens, previously loyal and cooperative, began acting unpredictably. They hoarded supplies, disobeyed orders, or argued violently with others. The simulation was introducing moral challenges, forcing Alex to make hard decisions. Should he punish the rule breakers and risk losing loyalty, or show mercy and risk further chaos? Alex took a deep breath. Leadership was not just about rules. It was about understanding people's hearts. He met with the most troublesome groups, listened to their concerns, and offered guidance. He explained the importance of cooperation, fairness, and trust. Slowly, the city regained balance. Some AI citizens, inspired by his example, took initiative, helping repair damage and guide others. But the challenges escalated. Messages appeared across the sky in glowing letters. Test: will you rule with wisdom or with fear? Will you protect or dominate? Your choices define the future. Soon Alex faced a new problem. Rival kingdoms, sensing weakness, began to challenge his influence. They sent armies to border villages, threatened trade routes, and spread rumors. Alex had to act quickly. He could use military force, but he preferred another path. Using negotiation, alliances, and clever strategy, he convinced neighboring leaders that cooperation would benefit all. Some agreed willingly. Others tested him through smaller conflicts. Alex also discovered that the simulation allowed for innovative solutions. By combining trade, diplomacy, and shared resources, he strengthened his empire without relying on brute force. Villagers and city leaders admired him not just for victories, but for his fairness and intelligence. Even AI citizens seemed to respond to his human creativity, learning from his decisions in ways no ordinary code could anticipate. However, the simulation introduced new challenges that were unpredictable and personal. Nightly visions appeared in the sky, shadows of distant lands, whispers of rebellion, and glimpses of other players whose motives were unclear. Alex began to realize that he was not alone. Others might have entered the simulation with their own goals. Some might become allies, others rivals. One evening, Eldrick appeared again, his expression serious. "Alex," Eldrick said, "the trials are becoming real. The simulation is alive, observing, learning, and responding. Soon you will face tests where failure could affect your entire empire. Remember, true leadership is not about power. It is about vision, courage, and moral judgment." Alex understood. His journey had grown beyond strategy and skill. He had to lead with wisdom, inspiring loyalty, and solving conflicts without losing his values. Over the following days, he faced disasters, rebellions, and political intrigue simultaneously. A border town rebelled after rumors of unfair treatment. Another city faced food shortages due to unexpected storms. Alex divided his attention, prioritizing crises and finding solutions that balanced justice with practicality. Every action had consequences. A wrong decision could weaken the empire or cause dissent. He also discovered hidden opportunities. Ancient ruins scattered across the lands contained digital codes that offered shortcuts, resources, and tools for improving governance. But they came with moral dilemmas. Should he use these codes to gain an advantage or respect the simulation's natural balance? Alex chose wisely, using resources to help people, not just himself. The simulation intensified when a massive threat emerged, a coalition of rogue kingdoms led by a mysterious player. They attacked multiple regions at once, testing Alex's ability to respond to large-scale conflict. He could have deployed overwhelming force, but he realized that trust, alliances, and intelligence would be more effective. Using clever tactics, he coordinated his forces, strengthened defenses, and convinced neighboring rulers to join him. The battles were tense and challenging, but Alex's human intuition and decision-making turned the tide. After the conflict, the simulation revealed another hidden truth. It was not merely a game, but a test of humanity's potential. Alex understood that his leadership, empathy, and creativity were qualities that no AI could fully replicate. The challenges had been designed to test him, but also to reveal the strengths of a human mind in ways the simulation could not predict. Finally, after weeks of trials, the simulation sent a final message for Part 4. The Empire is yours to rule. Will you lead as a king who inspires loyalty and justice, or as a ruler who rules with fear? The choice is yours. Alex gazed over the vast lands, cities, and people he had helped shape. He had faced storms, rebellions, and rival kingdoms. He had built alliances, solved conflicts, and proven the power of human qualities in leadership. And now the simulation offered him the ultimate choice: to rise fully as a king, not just in title but in the hearts of his people. I will lead with wisdom, fairness, and courage, Alex said aloud, determination burning in his chest. I will show that humanity can achieve greatness even in a world designed to challenge it. The simulation seemed to respond with a soft glow, as if acknowledging his decision. Alex Carter, once a simple gamer, was now poised to become the king of a digital empire. Alex Carter had earned the respect of countless citizens, leaders, and allies. The lands of the simulation stretched across mountains, forests, rivers, and cities, all unified under his guidance. He had faced storms, rebellions, and rival kingdoms emerging stronger each time. And now the simulation offered him the ultimate test: true rulership. The first days as king were not easy. Titles alone did not secure loyalty. Alex had to establish laws, trade agreements, and defense strategies. He met with city leaders, villagers, and envoys from distant lands to ensure that justice and fairness guided every decision. His human intuition, creativity, and empathy became his greatest tools. Early on, he faced a threat unlike any before. A coalition of rogue kingdoms sought to overthrow him. Their armies were vast, their strategies complex, and their motives unclear. Alex knew that brute force alone could not defeat them. Instead, he combined diplomacy, trade incentives, and clever tactics to neutralize threats without unnecessary bloodshed. Villagers and leaders rallied to him, inspired by his fairness and intelligence. The simulation itself seemed to respond, providing subtle clues and tools for strategy. But rulership was not just about defending the empire, it was about growth. Alex invested in infrastructure, building roads, schools, and trade routes. Villagers were trained in skills to improve their communities. Cities flourished under his guidance, and regions once struggling began to thrive. Alex realized that human qualities, compassion, fairness, creativity, could shape societies more effectively than force or control. During this time, he discovered a surprising opportunity: a way to connect the simulation to the real world. Advanced codes hidden in ancient ruins allowed him to test ideas that could improve technology, governance, and problem-solving outside the game. Alex understood the significance. The lessons of leadership, strategy, and morality were not limited to the digital world. They could benefit humanity as a whole. The final trial of the simulation approached. A massive crisis emerged. Natural disasters struck multiple regions simultaneously. Rebel factions grew restless, and rumors of a mysterious enemy appeared on the borders. Alex had to act quickly. He coordinated his empire with precision, delegating responsibilities while personally guiding key decisions. Using intelligence, empathy, and creativity, he solved problems, inspired loyalty, and strengthened the empire's defenses. Through this trial, Alex demonstrated that human qualities could surpass even the most advanced AI logic. The citizens trusted him, worked together, and achieved victories that the simulation had not predicted. Alex understood a profound truth. Leadership was not about power alone. It was about inspiring people, solving problems creatively, and guiding others toward a shared vision. Finally, the simulation spoke directly to him. Words appeared in glowing light above the capital city. Alex Carter, you have proven that humanity can thrive where AI alone cannot. You are king not only in title but in vision, wisdom, and courage. The empire is yours. Alex felt a surge of pride but also humility. He had earned this not through strength or dominance but through human qualities that could not be replicated by machines. His citizens, both AI and human players, celebrated, their loyalty and admiration a testament to his leadership. Returning to reality, Alex removed the headset. His apartment looked the same, but he felt different. He had learned lessons that could change his life forever: strategy, empathy, creativity, and courage. He realized that the simulation had been more than a game. It had been a training ground for the true potential of humanity. And yet, a subtle glow on the headset reminded him that the digital empire still existed, alive and watching. The world he had built could be returned to, guided by his wisdom. Alex smiled, understanding that he had become a bridge between two worlds, the digital and the real. In both, human qualities could shine brighter than any algorithm. Alex Carter, once a simple gamer, was now a king, not only of a digital empire but of ideas, vision, and the potential of humanity itself. The journey had begun with a game, but it had revealed the strength, creativity, and courage that made humans truly extraordinary.